champion City hosting second place Liverpool with just a point separating them at the top of the table, and this game could be a title decider. As we now welcome in Nedum, Craig and Stewart along for the ride to talk all about this big game coming up on Sunday. But I will start with you, Stevie. Is this the best rivalry that the Premier League has seen?
Oh, I think that's... I don't think you can say that. I think you can say it's as good as any other rivalry. I mean, straight off the bat, I'm thinking about Man United, Arsenal. You know, with Wenger and Fergie and the players battling it out and in each other's face, whether it's on the field or in the tunnel. I would say this is as intense, but a lot more friendly. Okay. It's a lot more of a football match, as opposed to there was a lot of physical battles in that particular one. So this is 100% all about football.
Stewart Robson, right now, are these currently the best two teams on the planet?
Yes, they are, because they both play their different styles of football. They both do it very well. Man City can... When people go to play at Man City or play against Man City, they're frightened of being totally outplayed, being embarrassed. And you can say the same when you go and play Liverpool, because their style of football, high intensity, getting balls in behind you, the front three, running in behind, scoring goals, they can outplay anybody. So they are the two best teams at the moment. We saw it again in midweek, although Man City didn't play at their very best. You saw Liverpool destroy, really, Benfica over the game. So they certainly are the best two teams on the planet at the moment.
Craig, would you agree that they're the two best in the world right now?
Two best in England, I'd say. I think it would be a bit English biased, UK biased to suggest that with what we saw Real Madrid do to Chelsea, although Chelsea aren't on the level that these two are. Bayern Munich as well, they're having some problems, but yeah, look, they're two great sides with two great managers. But to go back to the initial question to Stevie, which I think it was, at the moment this rivalry is not a patch on those great Man United Arsenal games, because as Stevie said, they had everything, and also they had a manager who had really cemented his place in Sir Alex Ferguson, the dominance, and Wenger coming in pretty much as a nobody at the time, an unknown certainly, and building a great Arsenal side. Now both these managers have come in from abroad. Clearly they're both great. I think Klopp's had a lot more work to do from the starting point of where Liverpool were, and they've both done it brilliantly. And this game really is just a toss of a coin. I mean, that's how I think evenly matched these two sides are.
Nedum, Liverpool were 14 points behind City over the Christmas break. Now we see it's just 1 point. Would you say that the momentum's with them?
Yeah, you'd have to say that. I think given the amount of games that they've won in a row, but then this is similar to what Man City did earlier in the season as well, and what they did last season. When a side can go and win 10 plus games in a row, the pressure is applied to such a special level to the opposition that, you know, if you draw a game, like, people feel like you're out of form. I think this is just a general ebb and flow of the season. Like, we look at this situation now, and say if they weren't playing against each other and both teams won out, there'd be another season whereby one team would finish on 96 and one would be on 97 points. So even though there was a 14-point gap at Christmas time or whenever it was, the fact is Liverpool was still on track to be posting like 80, 90 plus points in a season, which more often than not will have you involved in either the title race or winning the title itself. But for Liverpool, you know, the momentum is with them because they are getting the results. But it's a really interesting game, this one, just because, like, do Liverpool have to, like, Liverpool, are they going to go out and just try and win this game? Because I think if they were playing at home, then it makes perfect sense. You know, you can picture how it's going to go. But for this now to be playing away to Manchester City, with City currently being in the lead at the top of the table and having one or two people doubting them, you know, it makes for a really, really intriguing game.
I'm not sure, Nedum. Surely there's only one thing going to happen in this game. Both sides are getting after it. I don't think Liverpool are capable of going about it any other way, regardless of whether they're home or away. You know, I just can't imagine that this game is going to be anything other than both sides knocking whatever they can out of each other as far as playing football's concerned. Both sides are going to go forward 100%. There ain't going to be no sitting tight and holding a line and this and that. These two sides are absolutely going to go after it. And the fact that they're going to go after it, it's got goals written all over it. if there's one thing both sides struggle with, it's defensively. They're giving chances up. And right now, Alisson is coming up with a save a game, in my opinion, right now. And Edison isn't. So I think this game's got goals written all over it. There can't be anything other than two sides getting after it, surely.
Which makes me think, Stevie, that for all the attacking players on these teams, and my God, they're brilliant to watch, that I've got a feeling that it's going to be the team that defends the best that's going to come out on top. It maybe makes the least mistakes because, as you said, both of them have been so open. But I think for all the attacking players, I think the team that gets that defensive balance correct on the day, and we know there's no Diaz for Man City, but we know they've got really good players that can compensate for that. And I think the ones that make the least mistakes defensively, I think can win this game because, as you say, I think it's going to be hell for leather stuff. But both of them have given up a lot of chances of late. And I think it comes down to that in this game. Who defends the best picks up the points.
Stewart, you weren't too impressed with Man City midweek against Atleti in the Champions League. Do you think that they may have had one eye on this game?
I don't think that was the case. I think they came up against a side that defended deeply, and Man City for too long in that game passed it square and passed it backwards. Only when they brought on Foden, he started getting turned and causing problems and running with the ball, did they look as though they were going to break Atletico Madrid down. But there were just one or two chances, half chances for Atletico on the counter-attack, where the back four, Walker's going to come into the back four probably, but with Laporte and Stones as the centre half, and Craig was just talking about defensively, I worry about those two with the likes of Mane making diagonal runs from outside to win, Salah making diagonal runs from outside to him, because neither have got great pace. So how does Pep Guardiola cope with that? Does he have Walker as a third centre half just to make sure they've got that pace in the back three? I'm not sure. That's what he has to decide, or whether he brings Rodri back so they can get their two fullbacks playing higher up the field. That's a defensive decision that Pep Guardiola's got to make in this game.
Nedum, what do you make of what Stu's saying?
I think it's interesting because I think for these two sides, they've been paired up against each other, a ton, and they've all played in very big games throughout the past few seasons. So it's no surprise that, say, Salah will want to run in behind, or say Diaz will want to run in behind, or Mane or anything like that. And I think as a consequence, City, like these teams, they know how to play against each other in some ways. Like nobody should be surprised. I think for Liverpool, they'll play it around the back, but they're not shy in terms of going out and being more direct. Whereas for City, you can almost try and press them more because they are trying to play it around the back. But if they beat your press, then before you know it, you're in trouble. So there should be no surprises in there. For those players who are going to be on the field, they're not going to be experiencing it for the first time. Like over the past 2-3 seasons, or maybe more. Like I think it's probably 3 seasons ago, they've played in very, very significant games against each other when it's to do with title run-ins and things like that. And I think they've played under that pressure and they understand what to expect from each other because the key players for both sides are still basically the same. So I think it does make for a very, very good game, very interesting game. And then, for the balance as well, say, the last time I've seen Trent play, and if you imagine a full-strength Phil Foden going up against him again and really pushing him on the back foot, these are questions that need to be asked. And, I think as the guys were saying, defensively, if you don't make any mistakes, you're going to be in with a chance. But I'd have to say it's just whoever's clinical on the day. Because as far as I go, you look at the quality of the players on the field, the first goal might not necessarily decide the game, but it'll definitely decide on the flow of the game. And I think if whoever can take their chance the earliest, I think that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the match.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and of course, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.